KMC whatever, I'm Kirsten, and today's video is going to be all about Kool-Aid. And it's going to be about Kool-Aid's history and how it was invented and everything like that. And there is going to possibly be a true crime in here as well. So let's just get on with this video. So Kool-Aid is a flavored drink mix. Usually you add water and sugar with it, and it makes this fruity juice drink, but it's not actually good for you because it has sugar in it. But it is owned by Kraft and Heinz. Kraft Heinz, I think it's one thing, maybe two things. I don't know. It's out of Chicago, Illinois though, so that is where Kool-Aid is now. But let's talk about Kool-Aid's history. So Kool-Aid was invented by a guy named Edwin Perkins in the 1927-ish era, and it started in Hastings, Nebraska in his mother's kitchen. He got inspiration from the liquid drink called Fruit Smack. He thought to reduce shipping costs, he would turn it into a powder instead of the liquid, which he did end up doing, and he ended up calling it Kool-Aid. He did end up moving that operation out of Hastings, Nebraska into Chicago, Illinois, which is how it's in Chicago now. So Chicago, it was in Chicago. And Kool-Aid was eventually sold to General Foods in 1953. In the 1912 era, there was an agreement with Kraft Foods and Soda Stream to make Kool-Aid available for the product of Soda Stream, and you can get it now with that machine and stuff. Talk about the mascot. So Koolaid Man is the mascot, and he's just a pitcher of Kool-Aid. He's a pitcher with red Kool-Aid in him. He was introduced shortly after General Foods got him in the 1950s, and basically he is known for breaking through the wall and saying, "Oh yeah." And also having kids help him make Kool-Aid. And in 2013, Kraft rebranded Kool-Aid and tried to make him more of a celebrity that is just trying to be an ordinary person. I don't know. I remember the original Kool-Aid Man, so that's what I remember the most. So Kool-Aid Today. Hastings has an annual, every year, has a summer festival in August where we celebrate the creation of Kool-Aid. And Kool-Aid is also the Nebraska's official soft drink, which is really cool. Kool-Aid is also sold in packets, little packets. Also sold in tubs, little tubs. And also sold in little singular packets for a water bottle, as you can call it. They do have some sugar-free options now, which the original does not, obviously. So the original flavors were 6 different flavors: cherry, grape, lemon, lime, orange, raspberry, and strawberry. And eventually it went out to start doing like black cherry, tropical punch, pink lemonade, just summer punch. These wild creations, they would mix two things together and make this whole new one. which you will see later on in this week, the whole shebang of everything, I guess. But you will definitely see that. And a bunch of other ones are available worldwide. So I'm not gonna list off everything because there's so many flavors out there. But yeah. So now to get in the true crime part of this video, there was a phrase that went around saying drinking the Kool-Aid. Basically it became known in the 1978 in Jonestown Massacre that happened. And that's where that phrase had came from. So I'm going to explain what the Jonestown Massacre was back in the 1978. So Jim Jones started building Jamestown, and it's not in the United States, it's actually in a different country. I don't know how you pronounce it. I'll put the word on the screen. I'm not sure how you pronounce things. But he created this town, and it was to create that he didn't want people to be sanctioned into media. So it was a good escape place, a paradise, as you will, from escaping the media and just being cultured. And in November of 1978, Congressman Leo Ryan led a mission to Jamestown to investigate allegations of human rights abuse. And they arrived on November 17th of 1978, and Jim Jones hosted a reception that night for the whole entire thing. And so on November 18th, Ryan and a bunch of the publicity with him, along with 15 other members of the temple, which is Jim Jones's followers, decided that they were going to leave. And after a temple member named Don Slay decided to stab Ryan with a knife, and when Ryan and 15 of the others went to get on the two planes that was waiting for them, Jones had armed guards go and arrive on a tractor and a trailer, and they just started opening fire on them. The gunman killed Ryan. NBC reporter Don Harris, NBC cameraman Bob Brown, San Francisco Examiner photographer Greg Robinson, and temple member Patricia Parks. They killed 5 people that day. And then later on that day, the other 909 members, of which 304 of them were children, all were found, all drank from a metal vat that contained, all the members pretty much died of apparent cyanide poisoning, but they later figured out that it was a mixture of this Kool-Aid looking stuff, cyanide, and prescription drugs. The FBI found a 45-minute tape audio recording of the suicide in progress, and on that tape Jones tells his members that the Soviet Union was not going to allow them to become a part of their thing because of the murders that happened on the airstrip, which would be the murder of Leo Ryan, and all those other people when they were boarding the plane. The reason for the suicide was because there was conspiracy theories of intelligence organizations conspiring to attack them and go against them, and that was their reasoning. He said that they would parachute in on the temple, shooting innocent babies, torturing their children, torturing their members, torturing seniors. And they all agreed that the best option to take care of all this was to commit suicide by drinking a cyanide-laced, grape-flavored drink. It was later released, it was released that there was film of the temple. The temple recorded a video that was later released to the public that showed that Jones was opening a container full of Kool-Aid. So people believe that this was Kool-Aid that they used because nothing was stated. There was empty packets of, so on the scene when they arrived, there was empty packets of grape flavored aid. And Flavor Aid is a different kind of like a Kool-Aid, but it's called Flavor Aid. It's not called Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid is a brand. So when people heard this, people thought that it was Kool-Aid. It was Kool-Aid. And according to the people, the other, 14 other people that escaped from that whole massacre from the temple, that they were in the temple and then they decided to leave, so they escaped it, said that they were told that the parents would give the kids the drink first. So the kids would drink the cyanide first, and they would all lay together on the floor and they'd all die, basically. And they discussed this on events that were called White Nights, and that's what they discussed. And the members would drink the liquid on White Nights. They would drink the liquid, and Jones would falsely say that it was poisoned, but it wasn't poisoned. It was just flavored drink. But he would basically it's them practicing this whole cyanide poisoning mass suicide thing. So at Jonestown, Jones' followers, the temple members, followed him to the very end of his life. Today it is described that it was not Kool-Aid, it was just a Flavor Aid, which is just a flavored drink, kind of like Kool-Aid. Like I said, Kool-Aid is a brand, not necessarily the drink. And people say that it wasn't Kool-Aid, some people say it was Kool-Aid, and as far as I know, it's from what the FBI reports say and everything else says, it sounds like it was just a flavored drink that they described as Kool-Aid, but it wasn't actually Kool-Aid. So eventually, in the 1968, I think, there was a book released called The Electric Kool-Aid Acid Test, which is not about Kool-Aid at all. I would not read this book. But it was basically about this guy and his followers that he was trying to make a religion, and his followers would take this bus around the town and spike Kool-Aid with LSD and get on an acid high. Hence acid test. This is what they were. They were trying to become that all the time without taking the drugs. That's what their initial goal was to feel like you're high all the time but without the drugs. So that's what that book is basically about. It's just about their adventures and everything. And if you want to read it, go right ahead, but I'm definitely not going to read it. And one more thing, obviously Jones was killed. He committed suicide. But apparently he shot himself and he didn't take the cyanide poisoning, where all the temple members took the cyanide poisoning and died. But he supposedly shot himself, or he had someone shoot him before he died. Just a theory out there, I don't really know. Of the products that you could buy at the store include Kool-Aid Pops, Kool-Aid Bursts, Kool-Aid Twist tubs, Kool-Aid packets, Kool-Aid singles, Kool-Aid jammers, Kool-Aid sparklers, Kool-Aid liquid, Kool-Aid Fun Fizz. So now I'm going to talk about the worldwide stuff. And the only thing I could find for that is Canada used to have a drink called the Freshie, I think is how you say it. It was a popular alternative to Kool-Aid, and it was only sold from the 1950s to the 1980s. And the flavors included orange, grape, cherry, lemon, lemon lime, blueberry, raspberry, fruit punch, and root beer. And as far as I know, it's not sold anymore. If you're from Canada, just let me know in the comments if that is sold in your country. Also, let me know if in the country you live in, do you guys have Kool-Aid? I know Kool-Aid was a big part of my childhood, a big part of a lot of people's childhood. You can also make it yourself, which I will teach you how to make Kool-Aid at the end of this video. And so yeah, so let's just get on with making this Kool-Aid. And your Kool-Aid pack. So how you make Kool-Aid, you should just put water,
that's a lot.
You're supposed to fill it all the way up. I'm not gonna make that much. And then a full pitcher, you need 2 cups of sugar. Since I'm only making half a pitcher, I'm just gonna put
half a pitcher.
That's what I'm like.
That's enough.
I think that's enough. And then you take your mix.
What is it?
You'll see in the next video.
I don't like this strap thing.
That's good enough. And then you stir it up. And you put it in the cooler, the fridge, to cool. That's all you gotta do. So give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and comment down below if you have Kool-Aid where you live, and if Freshie is still sold in Canada. And subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the bell notification so you're notified when we post every single Friday. This is KMC Whatever, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!